Hey there, welcome to Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, welcome. I'm so excited to be reading your tea leaves today. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you for a few minutes here. It is nice to feel your energies. We start with, it looks like we have the number 379. Okay, let me get my little pointer. I don't want to. Okay, so we have the 3, we have the 7, and then we have the 9. It kind of looks like an OG 4, which are my favorite ones with like the little point and beautiful. I have a thing for old script and old, who doesn't really? Who doesn't love a beautiful script? But also the old shorthand and I don't know what those pointy numbers are really called, but they're beautiful. I like them. I like the old fonts. So anyways, a little about me. Welcome. We have 379. That's our first number. Now, we also have what looks like an umbrella, you can see, right? And within the umbrella, it kind of almost looks like we have a little face. Okay, so also the nose coming down and kind of almost hidden. And this really is an interesting mixture, like a face within an umbrella, right? To me, it almost feels like you have somebody in your life who, during times that were pretty difficult, pretty bleak, and those might even be like right now, right? Who's not tripping out right now? Who is not going through it on some level in some way? I feel like I have not talked to somebody in months that didn't have some kind of crisis or catastrophe or, ongoing worry, health issues, financial, whatever. I feel like it's just like we are going through it collectively and individually, and that's life in a lot of ways, right? There's always something going on somewhere in your life, but man, it is a lot lately, right? So I feel like you've had somebody who, now they're not fixing the world for you. Nobody can fix the world. Nobody can come in and save you. Nobody can make your life better. We don't hand our power away like that, right? We do not wait for anyone to come and, make it better. It just doesn't work that way. And I'm sorry it doesn't. And if they do come, I will tell you that I am very superstitious, very magical thinking. Obviously, I do divination for work. But that when we wait, especially, this is one of the sticking points. It has to be that you've surrendered your power to wait to be saved. And when that happens, there are balancing effects, right? What are those balancing effects? More problems, more lessons, more ordeals. Now, this is not an ethical conversation. This is not about, morals, or if you work harder, you're like I don't know, like a more worthwhile person. None of that pertains to this. None of that kind of thinking. What it comes down to is things want to be in balance, right? There's always an exchange, right? So, when we rely on something outside of our own doing, we get what we get. And that's just the reality of things. Okay. So, we have this person. Now, they seem to be, look at these eyes. I don't feel like these are soft eyes. They don't feel necessarily like the eyes of somebody who, let me just be real. It feels like they want something in exchange for what they have given, the time, the effort. They feel like you owe them something. And they got their little umbrella and it's raining. And it's like, if you don't get this square balance, my friend, then I'm up out of here. And, I don't know the circumstances of why they would get to that point, but I do know that is a feeling that none of us like. You know what I mean? You do not like the keeping score. Now, this might be a relationship or a situation like at work or something where, yeah, it makes sense that you would kind of take note of who is doing what. But this isn't like, in a marriage or, in like a good friendship. And that's really where this feels more like it's not so much like a romantic thing, at least on your end. I feel like this is like more of like, can I just be real? Like somebody who's kind of a pest, honestly. But didn't start out that way. Okay. Obviously you're not somebody who's just like, I almost said, I can't say that word. You remember that's Trickin. Did I spell that right? Ain't easy. You know what I mean? You aren't doing that to this person, right? You're not extracting everything you can from them. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they've been friendly. You've had a friendship. They've helped you out a little bit. And now what? You know what I mean? I feel like for you, it's kind of like, all right, but that doesn't mean that, and this is the age-old problem, isn't it? I mean, I don't really know because I don't be talking to people. I don't interact with people on any real level besides my family, and my, very close friends. But, I mean, I've lived, I've had other people in my life, so I get it. This is a tricky situation because it doesn't feel like, it's the worst, like I don't know. I don't want to sit here and go back and forth with the state of like, what should I do here? I am of the mind, and this is because I am older. I'm older. Obviously, I'm married. I have a family. I'm settled, but not even just in the settled, like I'm wifed up and like I'm done. You know what I mean? No, I'm settled in the way that like my soul is tired of, the complexities of human ordeals, like the social ones, the interpersonal relationships and all that. I'm weary, my friends. I'm weary in that zone. So like I just, yeah. So I feel like, collectively as well, at least from what I get with the interactions I have, especially with women in my own age group, and you might not be a woman. You might still be going through the same kind of energy, though. Just not interested in anybody if for any reason. Just want to do what you do and be left alone. Projects, babe. That's where it's at. The projects, the hobbies, the learning, the hanging out with your kids and grandkids and joining like a going to like bingo, bro. Like I live out rural, so we have also, like all these cookout nights at like, the VFW and the churches have like, fish fries and stuff like that. That is where you be balling out here. You know what I mean? You go up to the pizzeria and, just chill with the locals. And that's about as wild and exciting as it gets. And that's cool, because that's where we're at, man. Just maintaining the little lives. And I think this is the energy that I get. There's almost like an instant resentfulness. Of like, somebody feeling like you owe them something when in reality, just being a friend with somebody, giving somebody your time is far more valuable than most things. Okay. It really is. Like to sit and listen to somebody and to retain the information and then to talk about it with them. That's like the most valuable interactions, exchanges that we'll have, right? I know you're like, well, that's just conversation. Yeah. Tell me the last time that you met somebody and sat down and had a really deep conversation and what that felt like. What you left that situation feeling like, how that changed your, it might not be like forever, but like it changes how you feel in that day. It might open you up to new things, ideas, like put you in a different direction a little bit, right? And so this, I would say, I don't know, get up out of there. Somebody like that, and especially if they're willing to like openly demand something from you that wasn't already like just plainly stated, you know what I mean? Like, God bless, but get to step in, my friend, Okay, so we also have, let's get out of that one. That's like a just, ugh. It's not the best feeling, but also hopefully because it feels annoying, but it doesn't feel like dangerous. But you know what? We never know. So like, also be careful. I know we all just want to be like, get out of here. But then, you have to worry. Then you have to worry. You have to worry for like, I mean, who knows? People may like wait around for like years to like make their move again, or like do some weirdo stuff. You never know, man. You have to be careful you have to treat everybody like, Okay, so this one is supremely important in my eyes. This is like one of the more important symbols I've seen. And also, can I just say really quick, somebody was talking about, I don't know, they like zodiac signs. Oh, me doing readings for zodiac signs. I don't feel compelled to do that right now. It wasn't resonating with me, and it just was hard to get through all of the zodiac signs in a timely manner. So I'm just not going to be doing that, but I do have private readings if you guys like really need your zodiac sign read for or whatever. So that's in the description. Also, I don't know, just, yeah, I don't know. It's in the description. I'd love to read for you. All right, let's go ahead. I'm bad at doing like inserting those little things, but we have a person standing here, right? And this is absolutely the Hierophant in my eyes. Here's the head up here, wearing an apron, right, with the all-seeing eye. This has come up multiple times in readings lately. We have also over here, it looks like the Birdman showing up again. We have the heart. We have what looks like some kind of coyote or what's it called? Jackal. I was going to say an Anubis. It could be an Anubis. We have the ears up here. Over here, we have a road runner, right? One of those little birds, and they're so cute, actually. But, in this symbolism, it really is this kind of reckless energy, okay? Being met with the Hierophant, which we know is the high priest, the priest of the temple. This is the teacher, the master, and so on and so forth. So we have this right up against the symbol of, right, this kind of trickster, this psychopomp, which is somebody that it is a deity or an intelligence, an entity that will lead you from your body when you transcend your, mortal coil or whatever, and are taken into like a subterranean place or some middle place where there's some kind of decision about like where you're going in the afterlife. You know what I'm saying? So we have that energy of almost like a kind of a Santo Muerte, okay? an energy of being a devotee of death or living alongside death, okay? Not in a creepy, scary way. That's not what I'm saying. But this is in the way that us who walk the borderlands, if you could think of like a shaman or even, wow, anybody who's doing like root work kind of stuff, deeply living next to death, right? Because it is one of the ultimate strands or channels. If you could think of us having like our arteries of life, death is one of them, okay? So the Birdman, we know, is also a life bringer, a life taker, okay? Or not a taker, but, taking the soul on its final journey kind of thing. And we also have, again, the trickster energy. We have this kind of almost in the later years of your middle life, so into your 50s and so in that area, we have the energy of this kind of, you've lived a couple cycles of life, right? And you're definitely getting up next to that Saturn return. Things are not easy, but it is kind of a reimagining of what existence can be. And that's what the Birdman really kind of always reminds me of. But also a rebirther, right? The bringer of new life. If you could think of like a bird carrying a seed and it drops and, it gets itself planted and it begins to grow and it's this renewal cycle. So we have that behind the Hierophant. Okay. So what really it feels like to me is that you are being rebirthed into a new purpose. Okay. This is not one that you have much say in. This is something that is going to happen if you like it or not, right? We also have that all-seeing eye. So this is like one of those classic, I find myself in an ordeal. I find myself in trouble. Not in trouble, but in my troubles, right? And this is where I find that moment of just complete clarity, and your purpose kind of emerges. There's like a moment where it's like, none of this even matters anymore. I want to, and then that's where you feel it, right? You understand, this is what I need to be doing. This is why I'm here. This is what this next cycle is going to look like for me. I want it to look this way. And now I can't even look back anymore. I can't even, you walk into your home and it feels like it's not your home anymore. Suddenly you realize, I don't like how this looks. I don't like how it feels. You go to work, you realize, I don't know how I've been dealing with this for so long. Have I been asleep for like 2 decades? You know what I mean? And so you are coming into that next part of initiation. Okay. The part that can only happen as we get older. There's no way to surpass it, this is the work of, the lowly initiate. This is not the work of like, the divine birthed on earth and you ascend to, be the son of God or something like this, or some enlightened being by a very young age. This is like, I'm going to be like, copying scrolls in the dark for 50 years because that's my, that's the work I need to It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it comes. Yeah, and it comes knocking on the most random Tuesday afternoon. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, it begins to hit you. There's an onslaught of, whatever. And as that starts to dissipate, you've gone through the fog of the thing, the thick of it, and you're starting to see what it really is. What your life really is. And this is I see you as being somebody who will end up, guiding people. Okay, because the things that you've been through and the practical experience that you've gained because of those things you've been through, you absolutely are somebody that people are drawn to, because you know, in a real way, not in a I looked it up, here's a, hobbled together, advice. And isn't it funny, this time in the world where you could literally be messaging like, your friend from high school, or, your mom, or, whoever, and you ask them about something and they go and look it up on like ChatGPT and then send you that advice. It's like, babe, no, I want to know what you know. I want to know what you think about this, because I know you've been in it. You know what I mean? I know that you have fully lived it out as a human being who has had a human experience. And you can show me everything a book says. You can show me everything that's scraped from, Reddit or wherever, YouTube's, and put that in a little list or whatever. And thank you. That's cool. Thank you for saving me that work. But it's like, bro, like, I want to hear what you have to say. Like, please. But I think that you are a person that is willing at times. Now, not if somebody demands that they're owed your energies. Nah. Get out of here with that. But when you are asked the question, like, you will take the time to be thoughtful to, to talk to somebody about it. And that, my friend, is so rare in these times. And people are drawn to you for that, because you are an authentic person. You are who you are, and you're not going to gatekeep the information. You're going to say what it is. And so I think that's a big deal. Now, we also have J. So somebody with a J name, on your mind. Now, we also have, this is beautiful, we have the egg. Okay, we also have a person standing here holding a rose, which is interesting. I pulled a rose today for one of my personal cards, and I'm super excited. It is Love Frenzy time. And when I say love frenzy time, it means that I just got a bunch of seeds to plant. I'm going to be planting a whole bunch of lemon balm and a whole bunch of mugwort. I know I just but I just like scored a bunch of good lineage seeds. So I'm super stoked. This is love fest, babe. So anyways, we have the person holding the rose, which is the mystery of love, right? The mystery of the great mystery. And what is that? I know. What does that mean, Lenore? I'm getting Rosicrucian over here. I'm getting poetic, Gnostic, a little hermetic. And yeah, I mean, the rose is always that ultimate thing, And for each of us, it might be different. I don't know. But for me, yes, love. I do. I am a gluttonous, self-involved, really, really, honestly, probably very selfish, because I like to dwell in my sensations. I like to experience my emotions in their extravagance. I'm neurodivergent. I was going to say neurotypical. I'm not. I'm neurodivergent. So I don't know if I experience things like everybody else, but I got big feelings. And babe, sometimes I really, really like to be in those big feelings. I really do. So, love. What's the biggest feeling love, loss, same coin, different side, but love. And we have the egg. So here's the deal. I feel like with all this, you are also in love. You are in love. What are you in love with? If you want to share it, put it in the comments. I don't know that this is a love with a person. It could be. It could be that you are beginning to grow a life with somebody. Or the life that you have already grown, maybe you're already together, is flourishing. But I feel like this is a love for something, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's involving somebody else's needs as much. And that leads me to believe that this is something that you love doing. An interest, a hobby, a passion, an obsession, a fixation, a favorite thing, whatever it is, right? And so, I have to tell you, I feel like all in all, you have a lot of excitement, a lot of hope. And what's the other thing? I think it's just like abundance, a feeling of abundance in your life. Now, I just want to pull it one tarot card. We're going to see. Yes, there we go. Look at that. 10 of Discs. Wealth and abundance. Much. Everything in alignment. It's all coming together, my love. It's all coming together. It might not feel like it in this moment, but it is. It's all coming together. Now, let's do our 3 lucky numbers. Ooh, we have 35. Ooh, that was loud. 92. And, come on, baby. 94. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, that's it. I love you. Thank you for being here. It's always such a pleasure for me to do these readings. And yeah, I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, please do. I do private readings. I think there's a membership thing on here. I don't know. I got to get it all. We'll see. I'm going to go plant some seeds, though, today. I don't know. Actually, I might not. I have to look at the weather first. I'm in a zone 4, and I don't think we're supposed to be planting anything. But listen, here's the other thing that's exciting. Ramps, fully out. Fully in season up here. Dandelions. Today, I'm harvesting a grip of dandelions, so I'm stoked on that. Yeah, I don't know. I love you guys. We'll talk soon. Tell me if you're foraging or harvesting or what you're planting. I want to hear all the business. All right, bye.